What's up guys, AD here back with another Destiny Child video here on the channel, and in today's video everyone we are going to be overviewing the World Boss Trial Season 27 team guide here for the Xenie event. Now the event is underway already, so here we are with the guide, and hopefully this one does manage to help you out. But before we get started, make sure to leave a like on this video, as well as make sure to subscribe to the channel, and of course check out channel memberships down below if you're interested in further supporting the channel and would like to receive some exclusive perks here, as well as some cute emotes for the comments. But with all of that out of the way, let's get started here with the World Boss Trial Season 27 guide here for Xenie, starting with her boss skills. As for the tap skill, we do have deal damage to 4 enemies, priority fewest debuffs, debuff evasion minus 25% for 20 seconds long, and increase slide skill final blow by 60% for self for 20 seconds. As for the slide skill here, dealing damage 2 times to 4 enemies, priority with many debuffs, a 100% chance to inflict smite, stun, and skill damage defense minus 15% for 8 seconds long, and slide skill defense minus 30% for 24 seconds long. As for the drive skill here, dealing damage to all enemies in the front row, a 100% chance to inflict allure, nullify effects of buffs on target, cannot be removed except by special skills to all enemies in the front row with debuffs for 8 seconds, and corrosion, 150 damage over time every 2 seconds based on number of targets debuffs plus 1 for a maximum of 4 to all enemies in the front row for 16 seconds long. As for the leader buff here, we have debuff evasion plus 30%, all skilled defense plus 80% except for weak point attributes, and allure immunity for all allies. As for the battle buffs here, enemy skill gauge charge speed plus 20%, weak point defense minus 40% for all enemies, and nullify disabled debuffs, petrify, silence, confuse, stun, sleep, smite, and nullify electrocution and debuff. So a very decent boss skill set there for the wood debuffer Xenie. Overall, she doesn't seem too strong, so hopefully we do have an easy time against her, and let's see if this guide does manage to help you guys out. Starting with the first row here, we do have the new child in Samel. So there she is. She does apply nullify, stun, and smite. She also does have end cooldown, battle cry, aid, and focus on her drive skill. Now I do recommend to run her on 1 slide and 2 tap skills, and of course you can test with any skill order here on the guide. Just make sure to test and see what does work best for yourself. Now moving on to debuff counter here, it's recommended to run 1 to 2 of these units here, starting out with Babel, and following Babel we do have Alter Davi. Now you could consider running Babel leader skill, and of course we do have slide skill for both of these units here for their skill orders. As for the debuff extenders, it's recommended to run 2 to 3 of these units. Starting out we do have self-depreciating Navi, following her we do have Lewin, next up we have Kalaratri, and to end this row off we do have Thetis. It's recommended to run the first 3 here on slide only, and Thetis here on 1 slide, 1 tap, and 3 slides. Now a good tip for Thetis here, if you do happen to have the Beach Buffet Soul Carta, make sure to apply it to your Thetis so you can take advantage of the additional poison damage here in the World Boss Trial. Moving on to the Dancing Blade / Defense Minus category here, we do have Lady Bathory, and following Lady Bathory we do have Sun Beach Mona. Now you'll definitely only want to run 1 of these units, and make sure to run Lady Bathory here as she is the stronger of the bunch. As for the recommendation of the 2 here, it's recommended to run slide on both of these units. As for weak point defense minus, it's recommended to run 1 of these units. Now if you do happen to have your Mercury ignited to 4 out of 6 stars or level 8 out of 12 ignition, definitely make sure to run her over Midas. And if you don't happen to have your Mercury ignited to 8 out of 12, make sure to run Midas, as she will not work for the World Boss Trial, so don't stick her into the team if she isn't ignited to at least 8 out of 12. And for the skill order of these 2 units, it's recommended to run them on slide only. Next up here everyone, we do have Double-Edged Sword. It's recommended to run at least 1 of these units here, and we do have the 2 being Fail Not as well as Neptune, and it's recommended to run both of these units on slide only. Moving on to skill defense minus, it's recommended to run this unit here, as of course Oracle Werewolf is a staple for the World Boss Trial, so definitely make sure to run her on slide only. And if you do happen to be running tap based attackers, make sure to run Oracle Werewolf on slide and a tap skill. Next up here, we do have the aid category. It's recommended to run one of these units here. Of course, we do have the new unit in Samel. Followed by her, we do have newbie Mona. Now, I do recommend to run both of these units on slide and 2 tap skills. And of course, you can change this skill order depending on your need. But definitely make sure to run Samel here, as of course, she is the boost child for the event. And you'll want to take advantage of her 60% boost at base uncap. For the next row here, we do have the crits buffers. It's recommended to run one of these units. First up, we do have Lupin. It's recommended to run her on 1 slide and 4 tap skills. And following Lupin here, we do have Pantheon. It's recommended to run him on slide only. Next up, we do have the offensive stance category, which we do have Ganesha here. It's recommended to run her on slide only. And of course, make sure to use her drive skill third in the order. Next up, we do have offensive supporters. It's recommended to run 1 to 2 of these units here. First up, we do have Teresa. Followed by Teresa, we do have Santa Letta. And ending off here, we do have Party Star Med B. Now for Teresa here, it's recommended to run her on 1 slide 2 taps. You can also experiment with adding additional tap skills to her skill order, as of course her tap is very amazing for the world boss trial. And for the other two here in Letta and Med B, it's recommended to run these units on slide only. Moving on to the next row here, we do have speed buffers / cooldown reduction, and it's recommended to run 3 to 4 of these units here. First up, we do have Sweet Citry. Following Sweet Citry, we do have Maid Citry. Next up here, we have Tragedy Rusalka, Anemone, and Thisbe to end it off. Now for the skill orders here, we have Sweet Citry with 1 slide, Maid Citry here 1 slide, and you can of course test her with multiple tap skills. I would say it's safe to run her on 1 slide 2 tap skills. And moving on, we do have Tragedy Rusalka here. You'll want to run her on 1 slide 4 taps, and for Anemone as well as Thisbe, you'll run them on slide only. Moving on to the healer option here, we do have Alf. Following her, we do have Mott, and of course you can run either of these units here on slide skill only. And for the last category of this row, we do have the defenders. It's recommended to run 0 to 1 of these units here, as well as the healers, of course, depending on your needs. But we do have Nephthys here, and following Nephthys, we do have Zooming Mars, and it's recommended to run either of these units on slide only. Moving on to the next row here, we do have the fire attackers. Of course, it's recommended to run at least 3 fire type attackers, as it is the standard to run 3 attackers in the world boss trial. First up here, we do have Courtesan Bathory. Following Courtesan Bathory, we do have Letta, and following Letta here, we do have Metis. Now you can also experiment with running Letta as well as Metis's leader skill, as of course they're both significantly strong. As for the last 2 options here, more of the lower priority, we do have Tiamat, and following Tiamat, we do have Love and Hate Davi being a last resort. Now for the skill orders here, you could consider running Courtesan Bathory on 1 tap and 4 slide skills, just as the other 2 attackers here, but this does depend on your Samel's uncap. So if you do happen to uncap her a bit and scale past your Courtesan Bathory's battle cry percentage, then you can safely run Courtesan Bathory on slide only. Now for Letta and Metis here, we have 1 tap and 4 slide skills, and for Tiamat, slide only, as well as Love and Hate Davi, tap only. Now for the notes here, we have 3 attackers are sufficient. Attacker prioritization would be a 6 hit percentage base slide over a 6 hit slide, the 6 hit slide over a 3 hit percentage base slide, the 3 hit percentage base slide over a 4 hit tap, the 4 hit tap over a 4 hit slide, the 4 hit slide over a 3 hit tap, and the 3 hit tap over a 3 hit slide. As for the unit notes here, we do have Oracle Werewolf should be set to slide tap if using tap based attackers such as Love and Hate Davi. And second here, we do have if your Maid Citry is ignited to 3 stars, make sure to use her on 1 slide and 4 tap skills. Moving on to the soul cartas here, we do have the attacker soul cartas. Of course, you'll want to prioritize these from left to right, and we do have starting off with Measure of Justice here, which is the best option. Next up, we have Beach Trap and Victim, which is the second option. And last but not least, we do have Halloween Diva if you don't happen to have the other 2. Now for the debuffer cartas, we have Troubleshooter Mona, which does happen to apply debuff accuracy percentage plus, and the Juno's Gift here, which has debuff duration percentage plus. As for the supporter / tank soul cartas, we have Change of Air as well as Showtime, and Change of Air does happen to provide skill gauge percentage plus, while Showtime does have debuff evasion percentage plus. Now for the sample lineup here, of course we will start off with the left hand side, as we do have consider testing the off elements duo of Pepita and Grilla. Now Pepita is an amazing off elements attacker so definitely consider testing her in this world boss trial, as of course she still will deal significant damage. And if you do happen to have less invested fire type attackers, and let's say your Pepita is fully ignited, definitely toss her onto the team, as it is worth a shot, as she is very flexible. Now moving on to the sample lineup here, I did put together for you all. Of course you can change this up as you may please, so definitely make sure to experiment. That's what this event is all about. Now starting off with the first row here, we do have Tragedy Rusalka, Babel, Ganesha, Maid Citri, Sweet Citri, Samael, Failnaught, Anemone, Teresa, and Lewin. As for the back row here, we have Courtesan Bathory, Letta, Metis, Navi, Oracle Werewolf, Lady Bathory, Mercury, of course ignited to 8 out of 12, Lupin here, Sunbeach Mona, and Mott. As for the additional tips here, we have always drive Ganesha before fever time. Make sure to experiment with other drive skills and skill orders, examples Mercury, Oracle Werewolf, Maid Citri drive, etc. Also make sure to test other team compositions besides the one shown above. And for the last two tips here, we have experiment with other leader skills, examples Letta, Metis, Kalaratri, etc. And the Soul Karta T Bloody Tea Time is another great option for your supporter units. And towards the bottom here, if you guys made it towards this point in the video, make sure to check out my socials. Of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow my Twitch channel down below, as well as feel free to join my Discord server if you guys do happen to need help with the World Boss Trial. But anyways, everyone, that'll pretty much do it for the World Boss Trial Season 27 team guide here for Xenie. Make sure to let me know in the comment section below if this guide was helpful to you at all, and of course let me know how you guys are dealing throughout this event so far. But before you go, everyone, make sure to leave a like on this video, as well as subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet done so already, and of course check out channel memberships down below if you're interested in further supporting the channel. And a huge thank you to all of the members that have joined so far. But with all of that being said, I'll catch you all in the next Destiny Child video. As always, thank you all so much for watching.